Hi everyone, I'm Vanessa and I'm going to be talking about my experience at Family and Children's Services. So first, what it was like identifying my practicum site. I found my site through my mom. She is a licensed social worker and she completed her hours here, so I was lucky enough to get an interview with them and I secured the site. I researched and had a few other places that I was looking at, but nothing that was remote, and I really wanted it to be remote so it would be easier to fit in with my schedule, and I really liked that. I didn't necessarily want to be working with children, so I was able to be placed in the domestic violence clinic because they have a lot of different things that they specialize in, and they put me in that one because I said that I did not really want to be working with children. My outreach process was pretty easy. I got the phone number of Family and Children's Services, and I explained to her what class I was in and the requirements that I needed to complete 100 hours. She said that she could do that. I just needed to have an interview with her supervisor to see if they would hire me. And I had that interview and it went really well, and they accepted me as a volunteer, and then I began the process for joining the team shortly after. Now this part took longer than I expected. Since it was in person, I didn't have to go through too long of a process as it would have been if it was in person, but I did have to get a background check and I did have to get fingerprinted, and the background check took about a week. My position was not paid and the board process took a bit longer. I had to fill out a lot of confidentiality forms and sexual harassment forms, but that took probably 2 hours. So I would say in total, before I started to actually get into my hours, it took about a week and a half. They're located in San Jose, and that's the website, fcservices.org, for Family and Children's Services. So a bit of the background on the company is that Family and Children's Services started in 1948. The main goal and mission is to help individuals and families move forward with resilience and learn new skills from traumatic events. They are welcome for all and do not discriminate. They have tons of different services, including counseling, hard of hearing programs, school-based services, LGBTQ services, family violence and prevention programs, parent programs, substance abuse programs, and housing. Now, this was one of my favorite things about my site. They have a MyOker home, and it's a private home located in San Jose for their clients to stay for 30 days if they please. It's meant for anyone who's either homeless or needs a detox in some sense, whether it be from getting away from a domestic violence situation or detox from drugs. The address is not disclosed for people who are running away from their violent partner. There's only a few rules, and one being that they need to pass a drug test and be back at certain times for the free housing and food, and they're eligible to stay there for 1 month. So the social problem that this agency is trying to solve is to give individuals and family the help they need to function in society and avoid traumatic events and learn to have resilience to cope with them. They work with a lot of different clients in different groups. There are many different departments in their company, and I was specifically in the domestic violence department. They help children and parents deal with traumatic events and cope. They also have drug abuse problems, homeless families, domestic violence survivors, and many more issues that they work to solve. Now, some practicum duties that I had was I worked on some projects and tasks where I was with my supervisor. She had me do a lot of research and statistics to put into her group slides. I also got to listen to a lot of her groups and talk with her one-on-one about how groups are ran and different things that go into creating a group program. I would watch a lot of client therapy sessions, and we would later discuss what I felt during those meetings and some issues I could identify with the client, and just how I felt with listening to these things. I would answer emails and do small tasks around the office. For example, we have like a board where every month we have to put important events and awareness for the month. So I was in charge of doing the board for the year. So I would do that, or sometimes I would work on reading Seeking Safety. So a learning overview that I had was while working with family and children's services, I learned a lot about how groups are ran and how therapy sessions look, because I had no idea about anything about groups. Through my research, I learned a lot of interesting statistics about domestic violence and the triple effect it has on people. This work experience made me realize that I do not want to work with children, only adults, even though I already kind of knew that. I don't want to specialize in domestic violence. I know that now. I want to work with people who are struggling with mental health issues, so more on the therapy aspect. I learned a lot about BPD and schizophrenia and obsessive compulsive disorder, so I'd like to do anything in that field. My favorite part of the experience was hearing all of the therapy sessions, because that's what I really want to pursue. So it was the most interesting to me. I would say the least favorite, I liked everything, but the least engaging was just answering emails or doing small, tedious stuff like the awareness poster board and stuff like that. All right, and to wrap up my presentation, I would say some advice I would give to future students for a successful practicum experience would be to actually go in and not do it all online. I loved my experience and how it was remote, but I do kind of wish that I maybe did some of it remotely and some in person. I feel like face-to-face connections are going to be very crucial, especially in this work field. Also, to really picture what field you want to work in and to get experience with them. I was really happy that I knew that I didn't want to work with children, so I got to do adults because it confirmed that that's what I want